past year been for you? Well, for Gaurav Gupta, it's been one hell of a year. Him and his designs have made their way everywhere, right from Cannes to the Grammys. Today, we're in conversation with Gaurav on his plans as he takes Indian fashion global. Gaurav, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, to begin with, tell me, what does it take to build a brand that's fast growing while keeping an eye out on profitability?
I think I won't have a correct answer to that because I haven't followed any formulas as such. And I think looking at what we have done in the country and in the world from India, it is something which is very original. I think what a brand or an idea grows when it's something very original. And that's what I have tried to stick to and what my team has tried to stick to. And that originality and innovation and original thought process goes the longest way. And profitability, commercial sense, money, fame, etc. comes along with it.
Absolutely. But tell us a little bit more. How have things changed? Are you now focusing a little bit more on marketing, PR, getting the maximum coverage that you can? What's it like behind the scenes?
I'm in a very fortunate position right now. We are in a very magical moment. This is an India shining moment happening globally. I'm very happy to be able to be part of creating history, which is like when we showcased at Paris Couture Week, which is our debut show, and it's really iconic because the other 28 brands which are showcasing are Dior, Valentino, Chanel,
Absolutely.
and iconic brands which have shaped the fashion mindscape globally over the last 100 years. So it's very good to be showing on calendar next to these brands. It's amazing to collaborate with culturalists like Aishwarya Rai at Cannes or Megan Thee Stallion at Oscars, Cardi B at Grammys, and not just dressing these people, but those moments becoming global fashion moments and them being best dressed moments of that particular event. Imagine this is the first time an Indian designer is being a best dress of Grammys, and it's everywhere. It's in every media channel in the whole world. So for us, I think the response has been overwhelming, where we've had people obsessively writing to us that you're making India proud. Your design language is like this, etc., etc. But so answering your question, we're not necessarily doing any PR activity. It's just with the things that we're doing, there's a whole PR machinery happening around it automatically.
Absolutely.
So so that's what's happening. It's all magical right now.
I do want to understand, like you mentioned, you've designed in the last few months, you've designed from everybody, right from Cardi B to Aishwarya Rai Bachchan. So, now that you're catering to a global audience, how does that sort of change things for you, in terms of having to adapt to a global audience?
So I feel like I'm Indian, but I'm actually not Indian. I'm actually, India is also part of the globe. I'm a global person. We are all global citizens. And what I have and what we have managed to do as a brand over the past 15 years is to get the Indian cultural scape itself to the global level. So today, my brides wear sculpted gowns to their receptions and sangeets and cocktails, which was not the case 10 years back in the country before our brand was there. People were not even wearing gowns to wedding events in India or Indian diaspora all over the world. But now that cultural shift has happened in India, so I didn't have to. I think what has happened is that I've made India adapt to me, and India has then, and I have adapted a bit to it as well. So it's been a collaboration between me and the Indian cultural mindscape to come up with something new. And that's what's been really exciting. So I think that innovation then is a global innovation, and I haven't had to adapt so much. It's just when you're designing for somebody like Cardi B, what is a great thing there? It's a collaboration of personalities where okay, this is the color she would wear or her style. There's that elevation in the creative processes.
Right. Absolutely. So, I do want to ask you about scalability, just considering the cusp you and the brand is at this point. Over the past year, we've seen a lot of developments in the Indian fashion space. For instance, multiple brands seeing stakes being picked up by Aditya Birla or by Reliance. So, what's Gaurav Gupta's trajectory?
I think let's wait and watch.
All right.
Let's see. Actually, what's amazing is that Saurabh Saurabh is my brother and business partner, and he's brilliant at what he does. He's the business backbone of the company. I call him my boss as well. So he is. I think we've just managed to kind of. What's been really fortunate, we've not only managed to culturally change the way India and we look at fashion and design, but also have managed to make a conceptual brand into a commercially successful household name brand in the country. So that is, I think, and then now we are like, for example, globally as well, right now we've just opened this beautiful space in Mumbai, and we are launching with Neiman Marcus and Bergdorf Goodman, Moda Operandi, and a few other stores in the US itself this year. So we have a whole retail and wholesale plan globally as well.
Absolutely. That sounds wonderful. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
So, you touched upon how you were showcasing beside brands that have been around for the longest while. As a part of their business process, we've seen a lot of these brands, a couple of which you mentioned, spread out into multiple verticals. Is that something you are looking at?
Yeah,
for instance,
sure.
I'm really hoping that I see Gaurav Gupta sunglasses.
Yeah, for sure. You will see Gaurav Gupta sunglasses. You will see shoes. You might see spaces. You might see, I don't know, robots. You never know. I'm happy to design many things. I want to design movies. I want to design cities and buildings and everything.
Wow. I remember like my Gaurav Gupta moment was, I think about 2017 when you collaborated with IBM Watson.
Yes.
And, the sari was unlike anything I'd seen. Like it changed colors. It was really cool. It was very futuristic.
So it was the first AI sari of the world, and the first artificial intelligent gown of India. And the garment had LED Watson technology lights inside it. And if you put your Twitter account in the garment, it will change color according to your personality. So it gave color to your personality and the lights changed color according to that. So it was kind of atmosphere, personality sensitive, and it used to study your internet profile and give you a color.
Wonderful. So, of late, we're seeing more and more designers, and we're seeing technology take over everything, right? And more designers kind of looking at the space between technology and design. How has that kind of changed your design process? Has it?
I think it's kind of good to have. It's good to store things in cloud. And that's the only thing it's done to my design process. And also I think like a lot of my team members are able to make some of the artworks and sketches on the computer, etc., etc. But ours is such a innate handmade brand that I think technology is yet to kind of deeply seep into what we do. Having said that, we're very open to it. I'm very open to artificial intelligence, and I see it as a new friend.
All right. So tell us where, I'm at the expense of sounding a little bit cliche. Tell us where you see the brand, I don't know, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. What are your plans for global domination?
Well, it's happening right now. So we'll see us in multiple departmental stores. You'll see some of our own stores down the years. In key cities in the world. You might be seeing me making costumes for some movies. They'll be like, and as you said, I would love to do all these different verticals for the brand as well. That's one part of the scape, and there are many other scapes which are definitely on the horizon.
All right. How has the pandemic changed the way you do business, if at all it has changed things?
I think what the pandemic did was, for creative people especially, is gave them a break. And I think out of difficulties, it's almost like a creative opportunity for extreme creative people. They see it as an opportunity because they're able to reflect upon it, imbibe the social consciousness, the emotional consciousness of society, and recycle it in a happier way. So we kind of tend to. I think I went more out there after the pandemic. People wanted to really burst free with celebration when everything has been kind of much better, when they're able to go out party, meet friends, etc. So they've been in a much more celebratory mode. So that's where they want that whole larger than life Gaurav Gupta moment. They want the statement making gowns or the tuxedos, and they want to live it up. And it's the perfect time for us to do that.
All right. Another thing I'm curious to know more about is just considering the pace at which things are happening for the brand, the pace at which you're expanding. Is there this debate about design versus wearability?
I, as in, well, we have. I think what we do right now is mostly couture, and it's made to measure. It is for occasion. It is for somebody's wedding, or it's couture. And that couture, I have noticed, like some of my couture saris from 15 years back as well. Women either keep them and save them and get their blouses opened up if their sizes are changing, or they transfer it to their daughters or nieces, etc. And that couture gets passed on. It's almost like heritage pieces. It's our collection from this year, and it's been passed on, and I still see people wearing it, which is fantastic. But and on the other side, we're doing ready to wear, which is a much more watered down version, or evening ready to wear, which are the kinds which will be selling at Neiman Marcus. So, and also I think as a brand and as a person, I've always wanted to challenge what is wearability. I think wearability is like a concept like marriage that you put in the society. Like, okay, it's something that you're training your mind that this is wearable and this is not. So it's not, one has to challenge that as well.
All right. What are, just, considering you see things playing out, is there anything you're concerned about? Any risks to the vision you're putting together?
I'm in an all-time high. I think I just want to do things correctly. What's been really amazing is that I'm collaborating with, I think what I'm really fortunate about is that I'm collaborating with the right creative minds and the right business minds. It's just, we're taking all the right steps and it's all panning out beautifully. So I have no complaints. There's risk every day, which is a part of life and part of business.
Okay. One last thing I do want to ask you. So, everyone has been talking about Dior presenting in Bombay. So as an Indian designer, what do you think this means for the fashion industry here?
I think it's fantastic that Dior showcased at the Gateway of India just recently. It's also puts India on the map in the sense of that it's not just Dior, then the whole luxury world, the whole world of fashion, the whole world of consumerism is looking at India and how important a marketplace it is, and not just a manufacturing space, but also highlighting what Dior did really respectfully was highlight the craftsmanship that they have been collaborating with in this country, with the artisans, with Chanakya School of Crafts and Design. It's been, I think, that process and the highlighting of how beautiful India is in what it can offer and in what it can consume. So it's kind of come a 360-degree circle where this is, it's just reinstating. It's one of the blocks that reinstates the fact that it's the moment for India globally right now.
Absolutely. Okay. So, for all of this time, while we know so much about Indian craftsmanship and its significance, what do you think has kind of prevented why have Indian designers so far not been able to, say, maybe make as much of a dent as a French fashion house? What's been, stopping them so far, and how's that changing now?
Everything has its own time and place. Indian fashion industry is, 25, 30 years old, whereas the fashion industry in Italy or France would be 100, 150, 200 years old. So there is a time and place which a new industry takes to kind of mature or get into adulthood as well, and then it can actually go out and play. So I think that's the time. Like India right now doesn't even have an infrastructure for shopping malls, for luxury brands to actually sell in 50 stores, which China has, for example. So it just takes that time and space, and it takes that vision. I think what has happened over these last 25, 30 years, that iconic designers and the systems have built the industry up to a level where now it's ready to kind of have global partnerships and many universal visions.
All right, we'll let you go with that. We cannot wait to touch base with you again to talk about everything that's been happening. But tell us, so much that's happened, so much that's in the works. How does it all feel?
Well, come for the next show in July for Paris Couture Week. It feels really magical. It feels like I'm very fortunate, and I just want to say one thing that my best friend said to me is that when I was actually in Paris, I was not nervous at all. I was not anxious at all. She was like, "You are home," and I felt at home. So it's just when you are at home with what you're doing and where you're meant to be, it's just you just at peace. So right now I'm at peace.
Absolutely. Looking at your designs at PFW, we thought you were at home and exactly where you should have been anyway. Thank you so much for taking time out. This was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.